This is Oft Off Topic, a show where two men with the attention spans of a squirrel try and fail to stay on topic with today's subject. Where will their oral meanderings take us? Well, stick around and listen, because today's Oft Off Topic is... Part 2, and our conclusion on O.J. Simpson. In our first episode, we discussed O.J.'s youth, from a child with the rickets and leg braces to a violent teenage gang leader. From there, we talked about his football and acting career, and in this episode, we finally get to the murder trial and beyond. Because of his acting and advertising gigs, O.J. had more than $10 million in assets and more than $1 million a year coming in from acting and ad revenue. Not doing too bad for himself for a guy who, only made $500,000 back in the day for playing football for a decade.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, especially when you consider a lot of the other football players from that era were, broke, dead, homeless. Yeah, some of the old football players from like the 70s and 80s did not really have a great time.
No, sounds like.
Yeah, 1994, and Warner Brothers is putting the finishing touches on a pilot for a series called Frogman. It was to be an A-Team-like show that starred O.J. as the leader of the group. He would play a former Navy SEAL named John Bullfrog Burke, who ran his SEAL operations out of a Malibu surf shop. Basically A-Team, but with a surfing vibe to it. Sounds awful, to be honest, but...
It does sound awful, especially since they only exclusively, with no option to change it, Beach Boys around the clock. And they can't, they go from one record to the next because it's records. And so they actually pay someone specifically to stand there to guard the record player and switch the records. Like, please, for the love of God, stop playing Beach Boys. And the guy just silently just takes the one record off, sets the other one down, starts playing.
As an FU thing, he puts on Jan and Dean, which is literally the same kind of music. It's all the same, oh God. However, this awful-sounding show would not see the light of day as the same year the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson would happen. And releasing a pilot of a show that had a scene with O.J. holding a knife to a woman's throat would be bad optics, the studio decided.
You think?
Yeah. Apparently, one of the shticks of that show was...
at the end of every episode, our host would come in and hold the knife to someone's throat.
Actually, apparently OJ's big move in the show was his stealthful silent kills by slitting people's throats. So
wow,
you're not far off on that, to be perfectly honest. You are not far off at all.
Then they used that episode in his trial. Look, look, he practiced.
Actually, they did bring that up in the trial. We'll talk about that in just a second. But yes, 1994, Nicole Brown's murder would turn into what would be manna from heaven for one Jay Leno. Remember that 1995 murder trial in the Dancing Edos?
Oh man, fuck Jay Leno.
He milked that trial so hard. And
Well,
it got so tired out so fast.
I have feelings about Jay Leno. I mean, because some of the things he did was
How about the
too
Conan
far.
stuff?
The Conan stuff was too bad. And even the Monica Lewinsky stuff, it's even I bowed to it. I was there. I wasn't there, but I was alive at the time.
You were giving Clinton the thumbs up, being like, "Good job, man."
Yeah, I mean, I look at it now from fresh eyes. It's some poor 20-something-year-old intern who got stars in her eyes, and the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the country, basically used her like a trash can.
Yep.
And they tossed her aside, and she didn't know the game she was playing. And so instead of everyone going, "Look at this guy who took advantage of this young girl," everyone's like, "Oh, you slut! Oh, yeah. we love Bill Clinton." And they're like,
"How dare you seduce and manipulate the president of the United States, you intern, unpaid intern?"
I will grant you, Bill Clinton did do decent, politically. He wasn't a pure monster. He absolutely helped in a lot of ways. But at the same time, he was also a monster. So let's not pretend like he didn't have a secret handshake with Epstein. So
he played the saxophone on MTV. How could a bad person do that, Nate?
That's where he worked on his fingering. But
yes,
got him.
Don't know who you got, but you got them.
Right, them.
Somewhere of them is sitting at home listening, and be like, "Damn it, they got me." We'd also get countless white Bronco jokes because of this, and we'd also be introduced to professional couch surfer Kato Kalin. Remember when he was a thing?
Dude. Yes. And then he was like, "I'm an actor." And then after this is all said and done, he's like, "Okay, all right, man, you say you're an actor, get out there and act. Let's see what you can do." Oh.
Well, since then, Kato would actually be in a Troma movie called BC Butcher and have a bit role in the FX show Baskets. Remember that show Baskets with not Garofalo, what's his Zach Galifianakis. Apparently he was in that.
Bastard.
Also, Kato Kaelin would go on to be a friend of Norm Macdonald for a little bit, too. Good for Kato. Good for him.
Yeah,
What
I
he's doing
guess.
nowadays, I don't know.
I mean, he will never hit the heights of fame as he did when he was like in that trial. It's just,
well, I don't know about that. I mean, one good shooting spree could get him right back up there.
fair enough. Let's say up until now.
Spurt of fame.
Oh yeah, well again. All right, man. Get on your knees.
See, how dare you limit poor Kato Kaelin? There's so many things he could do to become big again. None of them are really good, but
when was this? When I was looking at his like IMDb. He is real busy in the early '90s, but he's still working. You know, well, he worked at least 2022. Well,
yeah,
he has 2 upcoming. Of course, one is Judge Gray's. Judge Gray's Teen Court. He's a court reporter, and then another one called Pay to Die. He plays a life coach. So
you told Kato, show us what you got, and he showed you what you got, and he's got more acting credits than neither of us. So good for you, Kato. Way to tell us off. Good job making us look dumb, Nate. Thank you.
Nothing will ever beat his height of fame. You're right. I'm eating crow. I'm eating crow now because clearly this man is living the top life because he was in the last Sharknado : It's About Time. So forgive me for daring to disparage Mr. Kaelin. Your Sharknado.
He got to be in a movie with Lindsay Lohan or whoever the fuck is in those movies.
Who is that?
Yeah, who was? It's not Lindsay Lohan.
It's not Lindsay. She's one of those chicks who was big in the '90s and then went away. Right,
kind of like Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, here he is. Tara Reid. Tara Reid, and then there's Ian Ziering, who was a 90210 fame.
Yep, he was the one that went flying through a shark with a chainsaw in the first one. I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was. And poor Tara Reid, like she got all this work done, which doesn't help. And I remember they were like she was in some. What is it, like catwalk or going into a premiere, and her dress just fell, and because she's so like dead in her boob, she didn't realize it. And the poor lady, they messed him up. They messed her up pretty bad.
I remember that kind of going on.
Yeah, that was a bummer. So
yeah,
okay, let's go back to OJ. We somehow landed on Tara Reid's boobs. Let's get back on track.
It always goes back to Tara Reid's boobs. Always with this podcast.
Everything. It's like the center, the black hole in the middle of the universe.
The very center of the very center of our Venn diagram of Oft Off Topic is Tara Reid's breasts.
One day when the heat death of the universe comes crashing back down, the one thing that will be left. Okay. And meanwhile, I have the IMDb page for The Last Sharknado. It's About Time up. And the biggest image they have on there is Ian Ziering, whoever's face is. He is using, looks like a metal pipe to hold off a robot shark that's flying through the air. So,
oh my God, a robot shark?
Yeah.
Damn. I need to watch these movies.
They're so fucking stupid.
I know.
But that's exactly why I'm going to watch it.
I also respect a movie that knows it's stupid. It's just like, we're going all in like Cocaine Bear. It's just like, we know what we are. We're going to have some fun with it.
Yeah. If they're like, okay, we all know what's going on here, then it's fine.
Trial would also be what would introduce the world to the Kardashian name. Bring them to the forefront of the American lexicon. Yep.
His greatest sin.
Yeah. Because the Kardashian daddy was one of the lawyers on his team. Remember, he had the dream team of lawyers. It was like the best lawyer team you could buy with money.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, they won. I mean, but
it did because they also had the famous Wookiee defense and the delightful rhyme of "If the glove does not fit, you must acquit."
Meanwhile, it looks like it fits. I mean, am I crazy?
Honestly, it kind of does. Because I mean, I could take any glove and sort of like puff my hand out and make it look like it's hard to get on. I mean,
and from what they said, he had arthritis and he didn't take his medicine. So,
yeah, and he was doing stuff like smacking the wall and stuff like that in his cell, I guess.
And I'm like, dude, and even with all that, it looked like if you wanted to, you could squeeze that glove on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, let me spread my hand as far apart as I can when I try to get this glove on.
Right?
So I guess moral of the story is if you're going to murder somebody, leave behind a pair of gloves that are one size too small.
That makes you get all blood over there, like get teeny tiny, like a children's gloves.
Right. Hey, if that don't fit, you must have quit. As they're just staring at you like, that worked once. I don't think we're going to let it work again.
Clearly, children did this.
So during this trial, we got to hear the cops say the N-word a whole lot on recordings and stuff like that. That was fun. And this was also a trial that basically got court TV up and going and really gave those 24-hour news networks something to talk about finally.
Man, and they still some people still do that.
Yeah,
there's some talking heads out there that like there was some kind of trial, like Casey Anthony, for instance. It's just like they would not stop talking, even there's nothing to talk about. Like
yeah.
nothing has
Eventually, they
changed.
start making up stuff, and they're like, "Well, what if?"
Yeah,
Or "We're only
nothing
asking questions
changed.
here, but what if?" And it's
Yeah,
like, "Oh God, now you're just theorizing, and people take that as being the truth." And
it's
yeah,
like
sometimes
whatever.
like 24-hour news networks can be more of a bad thing than a good thing. I feel like
Absolutely,
to
and
fill up that
especially
time, sometimes you got to make up stuff or
and because
exaggerate.
at some point it's just a bunch of people talk about their opinions. We used to have the same facts. Nothing has changed since 2 hours ago,
Yeah,
but
right.
now they're just kind
But
of
now
like,
we can
oh,
we've had 2 hours to theorize, and here's what we came up with.
yeah, oh my, or not even 2 hours, 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, right. Or
This is
nowadays too, it's even worse because they're like, "Hey, we just read an unsubstantiated tweet in the last 5 minutes. Now let's talk about that." Anywho, in the end, OJ was found not guilty by an all-black jury. This will come in important a little bit later.
great.
Unsatisfied, this
You better preface that like I said that for a reason.
yeah, yeah, right.
That's pertinent. Okay, like, I didn't
Yep.
say that like that's pertinent information
How dare they?
that has to do with the story.
Those types always stick together. What they expect? Brrr.
That is not a statement of Off Off Topic.
Yes, no, that's not.
He was
We'll get
playing
back to
a
why that's
character.
important.
Oh dear God! Stop throwing fruit.
So, unsatisfied with this result of the trial, OJ would actually get sued for not killing Nicole Brown, but for being liable for the wrongful death of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. This thing he got ordered, this thing he was found guilty on. This actually trial was not televised either, so we don't know a whole lot about it. And also, it does seem kind of weird that, it's like, hey, you didn't murder him, but we're going to fine you for it anyways.
I mean, it's
Uh,
like, okay, look, I get it. Dude absolutely did it, 100%. There's no question. He killed the shit out of those people. But we can all acknowledge it's a little weird that he's not going to prison for doing that. It just
he was to pay $33 million to the Brown and Goldman families, though, as net worth at the time was about $11 million. So to pay for that, OJ had a fire sale, selling his properties, his Heisman trophies, all his other memorabilia, and this and that. Apparently, OJ didn't pay much of this back because in June 2022, Fred Goldman filed court papers saying that with compound interest and all that, OJ now owes them $96 million. That's a hell of a lot of interest to go from $33 million to $96 million. I guess that's
yeah.
30 years of interest, but apparently, too, the reason that Fred Goldman filed that paperwork was just to keep everything going in the court system, because otherwise, stuff lapses. Then you can't open up cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Well, turns out that even after all that, OJ still couldn't keep out of trouble because in 2001, he was charged with battery of another motorist in Florida. He got off on that. Apparently, it was like a traffic incident, and they started yelling at each other, and like OJ knocked the glasses off of somebody. And in theory, he could have actually gone to a prison for a good long while because he was like because of the previous stuff, but he got off. Got to walk scot-free on that as well.
Because of his troubles.
Yes. Also in 2001, the FBI raided OJ's house on suspicion of ecstasy trafficking and money laundering. The FBI did not find any evidence of those crimes, but they did find a satellite descrambler and charged OJ with stealing satellite signals. Yes, that would actually lead to 2004 when DirecTV takes OJ to court over him pirating their broadcast, and he was fined $25,000 for that crime and $33,000 for lawyer fees for DirecTV.
I'd be so mad. I mean, like, look, guys, come on. Like, you raided my house. That's bad
Right.
enough. But then you're gonna rat me out to the fucking cable company. I mean, come on, man. Like, never mind. I was a football star. Did you should have seen my killing skills,
Ha! Didn't you see me a naked gun?
right?
Didn't you laugh? Didn't I make you laugh with those rolls? Oh, yeah. Also in 2002, OJ got arrested for water speeding through a manatee protection zone and was fined for that.
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah, apparently down in Florida, you can't speed on jet skis through manatee zones and stuff like that. And he did it.
Because manatees they're like innocent. They're all these.
Yeah,
different-
they're nature's buoys. They just float there and look cute.
Apparently, they have like no natural predators, so a lot of them won't even attempt to
Yeah.
defend themselves. It's like they'll actually like go and give you a hug as you're going past. So it's like, yeah, maybe don't mess with those guys.
It's kind of like those kawakas and stuff like that, where it's those animals have never seen humans, and now they just walk up to people, and then like a couple years later, you see notifications like, "Stop kicking these things that walk up to you, people."
Yeah, or else.
Or else. 2006, and Reagan Books announces it's releasing OJ's written book, If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer, to a huge public outcry. In fact, people were really pissed about this, to the point that the publisher decided to scrap the book. There was online petitions, the Goldmans filed all sorts of stuff being like, "You can't release this, how dare you?" This is offensive to everybody. However, even though the publisher said they weren't going to release the book, somehow, quote unquote, somehow, 400,000 copies of the book were leaked online in 2007. So if you want a copy of OJ's book, If I Did It, you can find it online.
If I did it.
If I did it, quote unquote, if I did it. Yeah, a lot of people like in interviews are like, hey, OJ, what about this line where you say, there was more blood than I've ever seen in my life? What about that line? He's like, well, I was just saying, in theory, I'm sure there would have been a lot of blood.
I mean, yeah. Why did this one paragraph where you rubbed it all over your body like lotion? Like,
Oh, past that, we go to 2007, and this comes the famed Las Vegas robbery where OJ and a group of men arranged to purchase some OJ memorabilia at a Las Vegas hotel room. When the meeting happened, OJ pulled out a gun and said, that stuff rightfully belongs to me, and nobody leaves this room until I get my stuff back. And as you can guess, this is considered stuff like kidnapping and coercion with a weapon, and etc., etc., etc. This is not something you should do, and this could have potentially given OJ life in prison for the charges. But, he actually got off quote-unquote easy and only got 33 years for all this. But he was also out on parole in 9, which was kind of what everybody expected. They're like, well, you'll get sentenced for this, but you'll get out for good behavior in 9 years. And this crime was kind of interesting and kind of dumb because he did the crime in Las Vegas, and as everybody will tell you, every square inch of Vegas is under camera surveillance. Like, there's no place in Vegas you can go in a casino that doesn't have cameras everywhere. And there are people that, I remember actually Dr. Drew was one of the people that theorized this, that this crime was so brazenly obvious that people are thinking that maybe the OJ was having guilt feelings and wanted to go to jail for, the murder and thought this would make up for it kind of thing. But that's also assuming OJ has guilt feelings about all this. So.
Or he just thought he'd get away with it.
Yeah. And the thing too is
he got away with the other thing.
Yeah. And the thing too is they're talking about how OJ was claiming that all this paraphernalia was his or this memorabilia was his and this dude stole it. But OJ never gave a reason on how this dude stole it or why this dude had all this paraphernalia or memorabilia. I guess basically OJ just saw this dude was selling a bunch of memorabilia and just decided it was his, and somehow that dude wasn't supposed to have it. So he just decided, I'm going to go get it back. So he got some guys and some guns, and they went and got it back. And then promptly got arrested.
Because no shit. I mean,
it should also be noted that this OJ being sentenced to 33 years for the crime was an all-white jury this time that convicted him for that.
Well, there you go.
Yep, that's why I brought the old black jury getting him off. The all-white jury convicted him to 33 years for theft.
And here's the thing about, I don't know, one thing I was talking about earlier, because we've been talking about this trial. Did you, when the announcement happened, were you paying attention at all? I mean, what? I'm talking about, in your school, because it happened while I was in school.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the murder?
Yes, the trial.
Okay, I thought you were talking about, the memorabilia fucking thing.
No. I was going back to the whole reason why, all this happened. Because I was thinking about back because we're talking about the trials. And when I remember I was in school when it happened. My teacher, actually, I was in typing class, and she actually turned the radio on so we could listen to the verdict when it happened. And so we listened to the verdict, and I remember there was that racial split, but it's at the same time, in the 90s, I don't necessarily agree with who they all decide to cheer because, dude fucking did it. But there were a lot of just tossing people in jail for that. So I think it was kind of there yeah, we get one. I'm like, but could you pick somebody who was, I don't know, innocent? So
I get what you're saying though.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I understand where you guys come from 100%. Power of the people, all that good stuff. But come on, he 100% did it. So I don't know. Yeah, sticky subjects.
Mainly, I don't remember a whole lot happening at school other than one kid after the announcement came in, he was really pissed off and ran around punching the walls of the classroom, screaming about.
And it's stuff like
but
that
also,
too.
This is also one of those students, I think he was just mad about other stuff and wanted an excuse to run around screaming. But
But also, again, I mean, we say all this stuff, la la la, whatever. Who fucking cares, man? It didn't affect your life at all. It didn't affect my life. Well, I left that class going, oh, he got off. I walked out of that class and then kept on doing my own thing. That had absolutely nothing to do with the O.J. Simpson. It's just my life has been affected 0% by the him getting off the first time, then him going to jail for other things other times, and even him dying recently. Does not affect my life whatsoever. Outside of, it's a perfect source for a subject to talk about on Oft Off Topic.
Yes, there you go. I was about to say, I mean, obviously it affected your life a little bit because we are talking about it right now.
Touche.
Yes, haha. Also in 2018, OJ was seen on camera stating, being a felon ain't all bad. Apparently he liked the attention that he was getting from all this stuff over the years.
I should have killed that bitch earlier.
Ha, wait. If I knew the murder in life would be so great, I would have done it a long time ago. 29.
I mean, based on what I heard about the relationship, it sounds like he tried a few times. He was a little handsy.
2019, and well, on David Spade's Comedy Central talk show, Norm Macdonald had his final thoughts on O.J. Simpson. His final words were, McDonald said, he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. And he noted that Simpson was the greatest rusher in the history of the NFL. And then Norm Macdonald paused and said, maybe I was the greatest rusher to judgment. Some people are saying that Norm Macdonald now admits that he thinks O.J. Simpson was innocent. Other people say it was a joke.
I hope it's a joke.
Yeah, who knows? Apparently that statement, though, was enough by Norm Macdonald that OJ actually reached out to him and said, hey, we should go golfing, buddy. Bury the hatchet.
I mean, just the stupidity of it all.
The stupidity on OJ or Norm Macdonald's part?
OJ. No, it's all fine now.
Yep.
Dude, it doesn't work that way. What are you talking about?
I mean, it would have been good for publicity to see OJ and Norm Macdonald golfing together. I think that's more of what OJ was looking for.
I guess. Boo OJ.
Boo OJ, and boo Norm Macdonald for even insinuating the fact he might be innocent. Actually, I guess there have been some actual documentaries that apparently actually bring up some pretty good points that OJ might not have actually done it.
I sus.
It's just like some BBC. There's actually a pretty good theory out there that it was actually OJ's son that did it, I guess.
I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, there's 0% chance. But let's just say it's one of those scientific things where it's like, okay, there might be a bunch of different things that could have happened, but a lot of times it's the one that makes the most sense. You know.
So I have moved the needle on you, Nathan. You went from, hey, there's no way he didn't do, to like, maybe there's a slight chance.
Well, I'm just acknowledging.
Soon I will have you saying he was innocent.
I'm just acknowledging, because I wasn't there watching him while he did it. I will at least acknowledge, sure, why not? Let's go ahead and give him like a couple of percentage points against the 100% he did it. Let's go ahead and let's toss him a few crumbs on the side. But I still can rest comfortably thinking that motherfucker stabbed her to death. And
I like the way you phrase it, like, I didn't see him do it, but obviously other people were there and saw it. Like it was a big public display.
Yeah, the crowd of people who watched him do it.
Yeah. They were cheering him on. They were chanting, slash, slash, slash. Oddly enough, Slash the guitarist was there too, playing.
Well, who knows? Maybe in the future they have they could do past cameras, and so that you can watch things that happened in the past in not real time, obviously, but like you can actually watch it happen. So there's, who knows? Maybe by 1,000 years in the future, they were like, oh, look at this guy. He murdered. Well, why would anybody know who O.J. Simpson is in 1,000 years in the future? But still.
There was YouTube videos.
YouTube videos.
Actually, there was a book about that too, where it's like way in the future they invent cameras they can send through wormholes and watch any part of history that they wanted to at any time. Which raised the moral questions like, if you knew in the future people could watch everything you're doing, would you change the way you're doing things? I don't know. I'd probably put more panache into my masturbating, I guess. But other than that, no.
Yeah, honestly, like for the most part, it's like, what was he looking at? Oh my god.
Yeah. I'd just be doing randomly the finger guns up at the sky. I'd be like, yeah,
You're
watch this.
Sky. Why is he always pointing the sky with finger guns? Go.
Yeah, winking at him. Like,
Every time.
What you saw. So, May 2023, and OJ puts out a report that he has cancer, but he's going to fight this cancer and win. February 11th, OJ posted an Instagram video saying he's dealing with some issues, but he's still fighting the cancer, and he's going to win that fight against cancer. April 10th, 2024, and Cancer puts out a press release saying the war is over. Cancer has won.
The Cancer. I thought you were going a different direction. Like you were saying, Cancer put out a press release saying, I found the real killer.
Cancer put out a press release saying, I got the real killer finally.
You're welcome.
Public, of course, had mixed feelings about this. Most of the tweets are along the lines of, wonderful athlete, crap human being.
Right?
Yep. Supposedly, sources say that on his deathbed, he made everybody sign NDAs before he died. However, the thing outside of TMZ claiming that, quote unquote, sources claim, nobody has said anything about this outside of TMZ saying, quote unquote, sources claim. They didn't even give a name for it. So whether or not he actually made people sign NDAs is still kind of up in the air.
And how is that enforceable?
Yeah, and also too, NDAs don't cover things that are illegal either.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
there's that, and yeah, I mean, yeah, this is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. People are automatically like, "Of course you did that. He's an egotist." But I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, until I actually hear more than just sources say.
Was he still an egotist at the end? I mean, I know, like,
I don't
he
know. You said he
absolutely
was,
was.
didn't you?
Well, no, of course, when he was younger, 100%. Like when he was like, when he's I'm trying to think of an analogy
No,
that
in
would work.
2018, he said being a felon ain't all bad.
Yeah, but not,
Okay, so in the last like
bad
6 months, you're
when he,
wondering if he's an egotist.
well, yeah, well, just yeah, exactly. Or he's bat 1,000. I mean, of course, anybody can be not, not an egotist anymore and still like be talking about like, yeah, I'm the greatest, even though everything sucks. Back when he was younger, even I guess all the way up to the point where he like started, was mid stab, like he was basically batting 1,000. And once that happened, dudes walk around dropping gloves like he doesn't care anymore. He's like, and then driving slowly down the freeway and just kind of deteriorate from there. I mean, he
I mean, he was in
banked.
and out of jail all the time as a kid too, so it's not like he was batting 1,000 in
Yeah.
a good way.
Well, until once he got out, because then he has the whole thing like, I
Gotcha.
started from the bottom and now here I am. Everyone worships the breath I have. Look, I've got Whitey on my side. What can go wrong?
Nicole Brown charging him with abusive relationship stuff.
Right.
Because apparently he was arrested a few times in the 80s for spousal abuse and stuff.
Yeah, because he was horrible.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if OJ is like repented and is talking about how he's the most humble person in the world.
Although he was pretty good. Going back to, he was really good on a Naked Gun. I liked him.
He was pretty good.
I remember he was like laying in the hospital bed and Leslie Nielsen's over. He was like, I love you. He's like, what? Oh no, it's like trying to rebuff his advances. It's like, no man, the boat he got shot on was named I Love You.
That's one where he died in the water and they had like the chalk outline on top of the water just floating there.
And then what else? He goes like, Harrow, and he's like, no, not now. I'll get you up later. Oh God, I love that. I love Naked Gun.
Yep. In fact, also, to close out this episode, we will leave you with David Zucker's tweet about the death of O.J. Simpson. David Zucker being the director of the Naked Gun movies. He tweeted,
Good riddance.
O.J. Simpson, his acting was a lot like his murdering. He got away with it, but no one believed him.
That is actually probably the best thing I've heard.
that is a good line right there.
That is a really good line. Like, especially coming from like who wrote it and about who.
Yep.
Like, that was that. Yeah.
His acting 100%. Was a lot like his murdering. He got away with it, but no one believed him.
Yep. That is absolutely that's
bravo
perfect.
To you, David Zucker. That is perfect tweet, I think. Yes.
Bravo. That was awesome. I don't know. I don't think I can top that.
Nope. I don't think anybody could ever top that one. Honestly, he probably wrote up that tweet like years ago and just been sitting on it.
He was. I bet he was. I bet
he wakes up every morning. He like checks the internet to see if OJ's dead. He's like, damn, can't use that line now.
He woke up like Christmas morning. They're like, he's dead. Like, oh, thank God, I can finally get this thing out. Yep. He like goes. He had the whole time he had this wallet. He pulls it out of his wallet. He wants to make sure he types it just right. So right. It's all crumbled like ancient manuscript. Here we go.
It's like an old dot matrix printer sheet.
Written this whole 25 years. I've been sitting on this line, just sitting in my wallet, going from wallet to wallet, transferring each time.
We laugh, but if I had a line that was that good, I would sit on that line for 20 years and wait every day to use it as well.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally do that too. There's no way I wouldn't.
Yep. So there you go. O.J. Simpson's life. In a nutshell. So, did you learn anything, Nate?
I mean, honestly, not really. But there was some things, but like by and large, I kind of knew most of what, because
you learned that Norm Macdonald might be better forgiving than you.
Very true. No, just because you and me, just because of the ages we are, it's just this. We lived it. We back in the 1990 whatever. What was it? 1990 what?
94. 95 was in the trial. 94 was in the murder happened.
Okay, so 5. So mine was number 5. I knew it won 6 because 6 is when I graduated, and I remember I was like I did go to school in 96, but I knew it won then. So
yeah.
So 95. We really did. I mean, we saw. It was the first time I really like watched as they say, high speed chase, but like a real police chase. Well, even that's our real police chase. We saw the show. There you go. Let's put that. We saw the show. We saw the show while it was happening. We were paying attention. The first time I actually paid attention to like a criminal trial, and I don't know why I care. I care because everyone else did. You know,
Yeah, I was kind of stuck with it because every time when I'd come home from school, it was on the TV, the court TV showing of that trial, and it was just on TV constantly.
Yeah, it was
play
the
video
first.
games or watch that.
It was the first real televised, trial, and so it just that was before. Now it's just like, you just go on YouTube or whatever, find trials. There are a whole.
Was it the trial of the century? Does it beat out the Lindbergh babies or the
Yep.
was it the Manzetti guys or
Yep, I think it does.
Watergate?
Yeah, I do. Now I'm purely.
I would say the average person cared more about OJ's case than
Yes,
Watergate.
that's
to be
why.
honest.
I think the Watergate was more important, like for politics and like world news.
But
like
for your average schlub, they're just like, bah, that's politics
100%.
stuff.
Like if you're gonna be if in the future when you pull out the history books and they talk about what like the trials of the 20th century, the Watergate will absolutely be a part of that, no question. And I think it would even like on a 1 to 10, it'd be higher than the OJ trial. But OJ trial will absolutely be on there. And if they're talking about in terms of like pop culture, like the zeitgeist of America, in that respect, I think OJ Simpson it easily beats Watergate, because you couldn't go anywhere without someone talking about it.
Rodney King might actually be a competitor of that one, maybe.
Here's my thing here's the thing. The Rodney King thing, while absolutely important, it was the verdict and the aftermath of the cops that did it.
That is true. The actual trial itself was kind of
like the riots that happened afterward dwarf the actual original crime and the trial and even the acquittal. Those are the Archduke Ferdinands of World War One. But it was OJ. You saw it from you knew who he was. Like no one knew who Rodney King was before it happened. So he was a popular person who was big in NFL. He was a movie star. He was beloved by all these people, and then his fall, and he became. While no one was there to watch the murder, except for maybe future people looking back in time through little lenses, the trial was televised. We saw it happen. We watched the prosecution just whiff it. I mean, oh my, just I understand OJ had really good lawyers, but we also have to recognize the prosecution totally dropped the ball.
They 100% did. They thought they had a slam dunk kind of thing, and they just totally effed off. And the police too. The police botched a lot of stuff on that.
I mean, we really didn't go because of we're not
well, yeah, and we're not lawyers.
Yeah, we're not lawyers.
There are so many things out there dealing with that trial. I just didn't really want to go that much.
I think you made the right call. You made the right call, because we would have been here for a while just sticking to the trial.
Honest to God, it's actually pretty hard to find non-trial stuff on OJ nowadays. Yeah. It really is. His football career and before that is kind of.
I really do applaud the way you approached this. I think you made the right call. You made the right edits, because we would have been stuck here for the entire time talking about.
Yeah, and also we're not lawyers, so half the stuff we said probably would have been wrong.
Right. But I remember hearing this at one point. So but I do think all that I've been talking a lot just to say I do think this trial was culturally more significant than anything else that happened in the 20th century. I'm not going to start touching 21st or whatever, but for 20th century, I think it is.
Impeachment was a pretty big one too.
Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Because that was also one of those around the clock kind of
I'll
things.
give you that one. I'll give you that one, because I actually forgot about that. But no,
so did I.
I would say that takes. I would definitely say that takes over. So OJ be nice. Number 2. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Or we could do a 1A, 1B even possibly.
Yeah, I mean, because
one for a public and one for a political trial. Maybe.
Yeah, because the political, well, it was also public. I mean, everyone. Yeah. It was because it was sexy. You have president getting blowjob. That's just. That ticks all.
We haven't had a sexually active president since Kennedy. Woo!
Right.
I mean, honestly, that was part of it, I think.
Yeah. So I definitely think that trial, because it was a lot more important and culturally significant. But OJ trial is definitely, if not, let's go that 1A, 1B. Let's say OJ trial's 1B.
I googled most famous trials of the 20th century just to see, and it's got the ones we mentioned, but also at the bottom. The trial of Socrates, the Martin Luther trial, and the trial of Galileo. I'm pretty sure those did not happen in the 20th century.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
I don't think Martin Luther was alive back in then.
And don't you remember when Martin Luther was like in the courtroom while O.J. Simpson got the verdict?
It was the trial between Martin Luther and Martin Luther King Jr. to see who had the rights to the name. Here you go. The trial of the century, maybe. Co-trial of the century. O.J. Simpson. I guess that's. What are you looking up? The trial of Martin Luther?
Well, that is it. Well, no, it's like trial of the century, and it gave me 20th century, and it had a bunch on here, but it's not listed in any kind of order. And it just, I think it's by it is order, but it's by year. So
yeah, and also I find it funny when they dubbed something in like 1920 the trial of the century. It's like you guys kind of hopped on that bus early on.
Yeah, I mean, who forgot Sam Shepard trials from 1954 to 1966? I don't know who that is.
Sam Shepard, I think of the singer, to be honest.
Other than this Ted Bundy trial, I mean, again, yeah, that was big too, but yeah,
that wasn't on TV all the time and stuff.
It wasn't on TV.
It was just one of those things you woke up and you saw in the newspaper, like this trial's still going on. Chicago 7, that was kind of famous. The Nuremberg trials, again though, that wasn't really televised.
Yeah, much more culturally significant, but it was not like going back to people weren't in their homes watching this trial.
Jay Leno was not doing jokes about the dancing Edos at the Nuremberg trials.
Right. The dancing Edos, that was so stupid.
Could you imagine him doing like the dancing Goebbels or something like that from the Nuremberg trials?
People be like, that's inappropriate. They are responsible for killing millions of people. But look, he's dancing.
But look, it's a dancing Goebbels. He's putting injections into these people. We don't know what it is. It could be happiness.
It's not, but it could be.
Yeah, it could be. But more likely it's probably polio. All right. So are you good with this episode, Nate?
Yeah, it's a good place to stop.
This is where the ending jingle goes. This is where the ending jingle goes. I don't know if we need one. I don't know if we'll get one. But if we do, then here is where it goes.